How do you get set up with the business credit reporting bureaus? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today is how to actually set up your business the right way with the three major business credit reporting bureaus. Now, this matters a lot because first of all, your business credit records are public knowledge. Anybody can get them. It means your competitors, your prospects, your clients, suppliers, lenders, credit issuers, without your permission, anybody that wants to can access your business credit reports. So obviously you want to make them as good as possible. In doing so, it really controls your reputation and obviously goes a long way to helping you get credit and financing. But all the bureaus are different. The steps that you take are different. The numbers that they assign you or that you are assigned are all different. The process of building business credit with each bureau and getting your reports initially set up are different. So today we're going to decode it all. By the end of this training, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to get set up with the major credit reporting agencies. And you're going to learn some little known secrets that may have prevented you in the past if you've ever tried to get set up with a business credit reporting agency. So we've got a lot to cover. Let's dive in. So we talk a lot about fundability, and fundability is basically your ability to get money from the lending system, right? It's what lenders and credit issuers are really looking at to determine if you should be approved for credit financing or not. Well, a large part of fundability is your reputation with the business credit reporting agencies. I shouldn't even say business because the reality is there's a lot of credit reports, a lot of credit reporting agencies as an entrepreneur that you're exposed to. Now, you're exposed to the ones you're familiar with, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion on the consumer side. But did you know that there's check systems, which actually gives you a report and score just based on how you manage your banking history? Or that there's LexisNexis, which I call the root of all evil, because LexisNexis is where all these sources get their information behind the scenes. For example, did you know that every public record you've ever had, bankruptcy judgment for your entire life, is on your LexisNexis credit report and accessible to by lenders and credit issuers? A lot of people don't know that. They think it just because TransUnion, Equifax, Experian remove that information after 7 to 10 years that nobody knows about it. Well, that's not the case. There's bureaus like LexisNexis that have a lifetime of history about you. And then, of course, there's the commercial credit reporting agencies, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian. There's also scores issued by FICO. There's the Small Business Financial Exchange, which exchange your information behind the scenes between banks. Look, there's a lot involved in this system. And you need to know how to get set up the right way with the reporting agencies to be able to control your reputation so those that are accessing these reports actually can do so. So, difference big time between consumer and commercial credit. First of all, with consumer credit, we're used to it just being built by default. And what I mean by that is if I go to buy stuff from Target right now, when I go to check out, they offer me a 20% discount. And if I get their credit card and get that 20% discount, that credit card reports on my consumer credit reports. I know that. I expect that. But that's not the case in the consumer and the commercial reporting agencies. With the commercial reporting agencies, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, Experian, look, 97% of vendors don't report credit to them. So 90% of the people that are issuing credit out there to us as entrepreneurs aren't even reporting the credit they're giving us to the reporting agencies. We're not even getting credit for that. So in a lot of cases, we see business owners in business for years that are then trying to go get SBA loans and credit lines, and they can't because they thought their business credit was established when it wasn't. All right. I think we are back. My apology. My whole screen shut down there for a minute, so I was gone for about 30 seconds or 45 seconds. So again, fundability, business credit setup, it's exactly the same thing. In order to be fundable to lenders or credit issuers, you've got to get set up the right way with the commercial reporting agencies. If you don't do this, then you're not going to maybe ever have commercial credit, even if You actually have a lot of credit with vendors, with Visa, with MasterCard, with Amex. A lot of that stuff may never get reported. You also have to learn that all bureaus are not the same, okay? Very big differences between the reporting agencies, as you're about to learn today, because D&B, for example, has requirements before they'll set up your credit report and score. Equifax and Experian, by default, could just come in and absolutely set up credit reports for you, even when you have no credit reporting. So a lot of differences we've got to talk through with them. By the way, give me a shout out. Tell me where you're coming in from. I always love saying hello. And Steve, thank you for coming in and saying hello. I always say love seeing Steve Rivas in the actual stream. So if you don't mind, tell me where you're from, where you're tuning in from. Always love giving you a shout out and saying hi. So Dun & Bradstreet, oldest reporting agency, period, of credit altogether. A lot of people think that business credit's somewhat new. It's not. Actually, the first reporting agency of credit that existed was Dun & Bradstreet. Well, maybe not in all of time. There might have been smaller ones, but the biggest players, D&B was the first credit reporting agency that existed way before TransUnion, Equifax, Experian ever did on the consumer side. They're also by far the biggest. They have about 230 million records on file. To give you a comparison, Experian is the second biggest. They have 20 million records on file. So, I mean, D&B is 10x bigger than their next closest competitor in the commercial reporting state, in the consumer reporting space, commercial reporting space. I'm all tripping over my words today. So how do you get set up with Dun & Bradstreet? Well, D&B is also the source of the DUNS number. Now, the DUNS number is a 9-digit number issued by Dun & Bradstreet that's used worldwide to identify businesses. So let me give you a comparison. The EIN number is a number here in the United States that the IRS uses to recognize businesses, entities. Okay, the same as they use your social to recognize you as an individual in the United States, they use your actual EIN to recognize your business as a legitimate entity in the United States. But D&B also has a DUNS number that's used worldwide. It's used by the Australian government. It's used by United Nations. It's used by the United States government. So, for example, if I want to be a contractor and work for the U.S. government, I have to have the DUNS number before I'm even able to do so. So the DUNS number and getting the DUNS number is the very first step when you're working with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, we have a link at creditsuite.com/DUNS. It takes you right to the application page to be able to get started. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and I recommend that you have your address, your phone number, several of the things we'll talk about here a little bit later in place before you get this. You're going to need all of that stuff before you get your DUNS number. So the very first step of getting set up with Dun & Bradstreet is you have to get this DUNS number, and then before you even do that, you've got to get your business address, your phone number, all of that set up before you can even come in and apply for that. So some pre-steps you're going to want to take. Chicago's in the house, Minnesota's in the house, and Prosperity coming in from San Diego, California, Maine in the house. We rarely ever have Maine in the house. So Lena, thanks for joining us from Maine. I appreciate you coming in. Connecticut is in the house as well. And Jody, thanks for coming in from Texas. I appreciate everybody tuning in and saying hello. Here's the link right here on the screen to get your free DUNS number. Now, the DUNS number is the first step with getting set up with Dun & Bradstreet. The second step is you've got to have 3 accounts that report to Dun & Bradstreet. I get this question all the time. People say, why is it Dun & Bradstreet creating a credit profile for me? Well, because you don't have one of two things. There's only one reason that you will not have a credit profile with D&B, and it's the fact that you don't meet their 2 basic criteria. The first criteria is you actually have to make sure that you have your DUNS number set up, or you'll never get a Paydex score. You'll never have accounts report on your credit profile with D&B. The second is you've got to have 3 accounts that report to D&B. It's not enough that you go get approved for 3 vendors that report to D&B. You've got to get approved with those vendors. You got to buy stuff from them. You got to make sure they're reporting it. When 3 of them report that you've bought stuff, report your credit history to D&B, and you have your DUNS number, that will give you a Paydex score, and that is what is essential also to being able to establish your initial credit report and score with Dun & Bradstreet. Now, Experian and Equifax, very different. Equifax and Experian are almost the quite opposite. So Experian will actually create a credit profile and score for you even if you have no credit reported. So in order to create a credit profile with Experian, there's a couple things that may be needed. One, an account, a vendor reports credit to Experian. So you got credit with a Uline, or let's say a Staples of the world. Staples reports to Experian. You come in, you pay your bill on time. That's reported to Experian. That will establish a credit profile and score for you. Now, the second thing that can happen is that Experian just knows you exist. If they know your business name, your business address, and your industry or NAICS code, if they have those 3 data points, they will automatically create a credit profile for you that's empty, that doesn't have any trade data in it, no payment experiences, no payments even being reported, just an empty credit profile. But here's what's interesting. They will give you a score even with the empty credit profile. And here, I'll pull this up and show you exactly what this looks like. So Experian will actually give you a failing credit score even if you have no credit. Now, they have what's called a BIN number, which is a business identification number. And with the business identification number, they will actually create and give you a BIN if somebody reports something to them. They will also do the exact same thing if they actually know that you exist, even if you don't have data reported to them. So you've got to make sure that you come in and that you actually have credit reporting to Experian. If you don't do this, then what will happen is you will be issued a failing business credit score, even if you have absolutely no credit. So remember, the BIN number from Experian, or business identification number, is what gets reported to Experian, or what issue is issued by Experian for you, even if you have no actual credit reported, or if you have credit reported to them. 2 ways, again, the BIN number gets reported. 1 is if you actually have credit that reports to them, and 2 is if they have 3 points of data about you. Here's what it looks like. Here's a real commercial credit report from Experian. Okay, you can see here that somebody has a 28 IntelliScore. IntelliScore is the second most commonly used credit score in the business reporting agency or in the world. Financial stability risk score literally depicts your risk of going bankrupt. 0 is being as bad as you can get, 100 being the best. You can see this person is very high risk. They are a 6 on a score of 0 to 100, with 100 being the best and 0 being the worst. They're a 6, about as bad as you can get, a very high risk of filing bankruptcy, shutting their doors, ceasing operations. But here's what's crazy. If we scroll down, we're at the bottom. I can't scroll anymore. I'm at 3 of 3, the bottom of page 3. We can see they have no data here. 0 trade lines, 0 average of payment history. There's nothing here. As a matter of fact, if we look at the risk associated, or we look at the reason they're scoring so low, we see lack of trade lines here. But Experian knows the business name, the business address, and they know the NAICS code. So they've created this empty credit report that has failing scores for the business just because the business exists and it has no credit. Obviously, really problematic here, because a lot of people that come to us, I mean, thousands of business owners come to us with this exact problem. They grow the business. They ignore what you're learning today. They never build the business credit profiles. The business gets bigger. The business goes to start getting loans and credit lines. They get denied loans and credit lines because of bad business credit history. They come to us in a panic. We pull the report, and what you see is exactly what we see. As a matter of fact, if I pull a report and I see a 27 or 28 score, 9.5 out of 10 times, I know that's an empty credit report because I know how Experian scores. So the problem here isn't the fact that the person has bad credit. The problem is the fact that the person hasn't built any credit. So this is how it actually works with Experian. It's something that you obviously want to keep an eye on. Now, also, when we look at this, we can also see here the BIN number. So you can see that here's Experian where they're assigning that business identification number, and this is just strictly the number that they use to recognize your business internally. Now, again, once they know you exist, once something reports to them, they then assign a BIN. The same thing with Equifax. Equifax has what's called an Equifax ID. They will assign an Equifax ID to any business in their database. How do you get in their database? You either have vendors that report credit history to them. You get credit with a vendor that actually you're using to buy stuff. They report the payments to Equifax. Equifax creates a credit profile and score. Second way is that Equifax does exactly what Experian does. If they know your business name, your address, and your NAICS code, then what will happen is they will then come in and create a credit profile for you. So now comes the question is, hey, like what happens here? How do they know your business name, address, and NAICS? Where do they get it from? The answer is simple: Secretary of State. So right now is the time of year where a lot of us are filing the equivalent of what's called annual reports. In Florida, it's called annual reports. It's called something different in every state. So in Florida, every year we have to file annual reports, which is telling the actual Secretary of State here, hey, here's an update of our business information. They say, hey, is your business credit suite incorporated still open? Yes. Is this still the principal owner? Is this still the address? Is this still information all correct? I update it, or I say, yes, it's correct, and I send it into the Secretary of State. So when you set up your business, you file with the Secretary of State, and then you file annual reports. Typically, when you file an annual report, that information will also go to the reporting agencies, and that's what will trigger the creation of a credit report. So once you're in business 1 year or more, once you get to a point where you're filing annual reports, you have a serious risk at that point of having a credit profile and score being created for you with failing scores just because you exist. So you need to start building business credit before you file annual reports. If not, you're going to see something pretty typical to what I'm showing you here. Now, Mary Anderson, thanks for coming in and saying hello. Shamika Williams, what's coming in? You're coming in from Florida. Yeah, you and I both. Jamie Richards from Greenville, South Carolina, thanks for coming in. And Alicia, thanks for coming in. Can you have a virtual address in Delaware? You can, but it makes sense to have a virtual address in the state that you actually are, your entity is. Otherwise, it will throw up red flags with lenders and credit issuers. Great question. And Nancy coming in from Chicago. Hello, Nancy. Thanks for saying hello. And Ola from Dallas. Thanks for coming in, Dallas. I love your Veronica. I love your picture here on YouTube. That's awesome. Thanks for saying hello. Okay, so Equifax, Experian. We've got to make sure that we get credit that reports to them to control our scores. Otherwise, we're going to be issued failing scores. It's going to adversely affect our ability to get loans, credit lines, and it's going to give us higher rates even if we do get approved. You also need to make sure you have an EIN set up. You have your business address set up, your business phone number set up, your business bank account, your website, your email address. All of this ties into fundability. But I've learned before I ever go to get a DUNS number with Dun & Bradstreet, I do these things. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you kind of a crazy order of how to set up a business that most people won't tell you. Of helping well over 50,000 people through this process and understanding fundability at a micro level, here's how you really should set up a business. One, make sure the business name you want is available. I want Credit Suite Incorporated. I go to my state. Is Credit Suite Incorporated available? It is available. Next, can I get the domain? Can I go to creditsuite.com? Is it available or is it not? If it's not available, don't get that business name. A lot of fundability ties down to you owning the actual domain of the business that you have. So you really want to make sure that you own the domain or it's available, or create or find a name where the domain is available. If the domain's available, buy it. It's the first purchase I make in a business. I buy the domain. It's locked down. It's now my real estate. I get .com. I get .net. I get .gov. I don't get any others because there's an endless supply of .whatever that they've now created, but I get the main ones and I lock them down. It's also a good idea to get anything that's similar to the actual spelling of your name. So if a word like sweet can be spelled 2 words, then get the spelling both ways so you own all of those properties. Now, I own the domain. It's locked down. The name's available in my state. Now, the next thing I do is I go get the address and the phone number. No particular order there. I get a virtual office online, Regis, Alliance, or DaVinci. So I get an actual virtual office. Now, keep in mind, a virtual office and a virtual address are 2 separate things. A virtual address is UPS. It's iPostal. It's a PO box. It's a postal box. A virtual office is a real actual location in a big high-rise building in Tampa, Florida, for example. Regis, DaVinci, Alliance, only 3 reliable sources I found that offer them. So I go get the virtual office, I get the phone number, Ring Central, Freedom Voice, any of those kind of voice over IP numbers will work, right? Now I come in, then I go to the Secretary of State and set it up. But why? Well, actually, when I get the domain from a place like GoDaddy, I set up the email there anyways. So info@creditsuite.com, those emails are all free from GoDaddy if you buy your domain there. You can do it whoever you want to buy it through. I just recommend GoDaddy. I like their customer service. Okay, so I come in, get the domain, and then I set up the email address, go get the address, go get the phone. Then I set up Secretary of State. Here's why. Now, when I set up Secretary of State, I'm setting it up from the beginning with the address, phone number, and email address I'm going to use moving forward. Most business owners don't follow these steps in order. They go get their domain set up. They go get their entity set up. Then they forget to go back and update the address and phone number, and they get denied for years to come and not know why. So the order I told you, now when I set up with the Secretary of State, I'm using the right address, the right email, the right phone number. Once I get that done, I go right to irs.gov and I go to set up my EIN. It's super simple. It takes less than 5 minutes. I just set up a new entity yesterday, and it literally took me, I think, 3 minutes to make it through EIN's process, or IRS's process, and I got my EIN number. Then I go set up my bank account. That's exactly what I do to set up a business in order to do it. Now you have everything you would need to start building business credit, doing business, and start building your business credit report. So that's not only just what to do, that's the exact order to follow. Rex from Arizona come in. Can you use OpUs? I've never heard of OpUs, to be honest with you, but I would look into them because they're more than likely a virtual OpUs. Solve your GPS. I'm not sure what OpUs is. So, that looks like it's a virtual office. So yeah, that's not I don't think I don't know. Or Opus, I'm sure. I haven't heard of Opus, to be honest with you, but it looks like this could work because it's actual virtual offices, not virtual addresses. So if you can have a physical location, then this very well could work. Yeah, Opus is one I haven't heard of before, but this would work good. This could actually work for you. You just want to stay away from virtual addresses where you don't have an actual address set up. So now we've got the business set up. By the way, I just actually leaked to you the information on how to set up the business where it's fundable. So now your business is set up where it's fundable, and now you can come in and start building your business credit profiles and scores. How do you do that? Well, you go get credit with vendors that report to the business credit reporting agencies. So Uline, 76, Granger. These are 3, for example, that report to DNB. So we want to start getting these starter vendors. Now, if you say, well, what starter vendors do I use? Go to creditsuite.com/EIN. Real simple. creditsuite.com/EIN will get you a guide that gives you the step-by-step process of building business credit. And it also will give you the actual starter vendors you can use to start building initial business credit. So I'm going to go get credit with starter vendors that report to Equifax and Experian, especially. I need to control my score there and not wait for them to create the profile with the failing score. So I'm immediately going to come in and get credit reports to Experian and Equifax. Then I'm also going to try to get my 3 accounts that report to DMB. And that's going to give me those initial credit reports and scores, okay? Now, what if your business is already established? Well, go back and do everything I just told you the right way. This is not a training about fundability. But if you go to youtube.com/fundability, and by the way, here's that free business credit building guide. I'm going to throw it up on your screen right now. So if you go to youtube.com/credit suite, just search fundability or search fundability on YouTube. Go through our training to make sure your business is set up where it's fundable. But I already leaked the exact steps to do. So if your business is already established, well, then you want to go back and do what we talked about. Go back and set up these fundability aspects and then start coming in and getting credit that reports to the reporting agencies. Set up your business where it's fundable. Go get your DUNS number next. After we've done that, we've got the business address, the phone number, the domain, the Secretary of State record, the EIN, the bank account set up. Now we go get the DUNS number set up. Now we have our DUNS number. Now we start getting credit with vendors that report to the reporting agencies, and then that starts establishing business credit. Remember, We need 3 accounts reported with D&B, 1 with Equifax, 1 with Experian to be able to issue those credit reports. Now, if you're not sure if you're set up with the reporting agencies now, I just gave you a free link on the screen, creditsuite.com/reports. If you go to creditsuite.com/reports, you could do a search with Experian and with D&B just to see if you're set up now. It's simple. And that way it tells you if you're actually set up now or if you're not. So this is a simple way for you to know that you actually are set up or you're not set up. And there's 3 outcomes. Either nothing will happen when you go to get set up with them. And here, I'll show you exactly what this looks like. So I'm at creditsuite.com/reports. By the way, $24 credit reports right here. And you get them free for 30 days. Only place on the planet you're going to get free credit reports. Okay, now I'm going to come here to Experian. I'm going to click on Experian. Company name, Credit Suite. I'm not going to enter a city here. I don't want to give them too much. I want to see if they know I exist. So I'm going to come in. I'm just going to say Florida. And I'm going to say I want my company. Note. See how the first thing they ask me is if I want credit reports on my own company or somebody else's. So this is the first indicator to you that your credit reports are publicly accessible. Anybody that wants them can go right here to Experian, say, I want the report on another company, and easily pull them up for the same price you're pulling up a credit report for your own. Matter of fact, they can get a discount buying them in bulk. So I help a lot of people that buy businesses get bulk purchases from the business credit reporting agencies so they could run credit reports on all the businesses they're thinking about buying. This is important for you to know because people that invest in you, venture capitalists, angel investors, people that want to buy your business, all these people that want to give you money are doing these same searches behind the scenes, and you don't even know they're doing them. There's no alerts. There is no warning to you, but this is what they're doing. I know because I help them do it. They're like, I want to buy a business. I'm like, you need to pull their business credit report. How do I do that? Here's how you do that. Look at that and use that to help you make the decision. How do I read this report? What information should I use to make a buying decision? I'll teach you. So I'm teaching these people how to buy businesses using this data. It's happening behind the scenes, which is why you've got to control it. So I'm going to go to get my report now. Now, it's giving me exactly what I want to know. There's 3 outcomes here. 1, nothing pulls up. It pulls up, hey, these things are similar. Maybe this is you, maybe this isn't. And I'm like, nope, those aren't me. Or it pulls up my information. Yep, here you are. We know you exist. Now, I didn't enter an address, and it pulls up the address. So they obviously have information about me. Now, the third outcome is that they not only have information about me, but they are showing with trade lines. So that means that, first of all, if nothing shows up with Experian, well, they don't even know I exist yet. If my address shows up, but no indicator of trade lines, then that means that there's a good chance I could have a failing report and score because they know I exist and nothing's being reported to them. I'm going to want to pull out a report in that case. Or the third outcome is that I have trade lines here and it's telling me, hey, we know you exist and vendors are reporting payment experience data to us. So again, the search is 100% free at creditsuite.com/reports. All you have to do is go check that out, and that will actually show you if you're set up with the reporting agencies or not, okay? Now, it's actually reports with an S, Keith. So if you could type that into chat, I'll throw that on the screen for everybody. What you say that I have them, I need to know. I'm in Chicago. Nancy, ask me that question, and I'll be able to better help you. I don't exactly understand what you're asking. Now, Owen says, hey, Ty, so virtual address with Alliance are not the way to go. Alliance, yes. Regis, Da Vinci, and even this Opus could work. And Mrs. Ariana, I called you Mrs. Arizona. That wasn't very nice. Mrs. Ariana is really cool to share with Opus. And if you get set up with Opus, she's saying it reports to the reporting agencies. I don't know if that's the case or not, but something worth looking into. Okay, now, Sista Credit Suite going to add more Tier 4 revolving to your credit building program? Yeah, absolutely. If you've got credit that reports to the reporting agencies, let us know. Good chance we already have it in our business finance suite that we use to help our clients build business credit. But if not, it's something we'll get added. So if you're already set up, then go ahead, do a free search. See if you're set up with the reporting agencies now. Now, as you build business credit, You want to monitor your reports. And the best way to do that is go to creditsuite.com/monitoring. I promise, I ain't trying to sell you something. You can go directly to the credit bureaus. It's $250 a month to get reporting from them. Or we work with NAV, got a discount rate, and we give it to you basically at a wholesale cost. It's $24 a month for all 3 reporting agencies. It's the cheapest on the planet. And we did that not to make a bunch of money. We could definitely mark it up and make all kinds. But that's not the point. The point is we wanted our clients to cheaply be able to access business credit reports because it's so important that you monitor your business credit reports. So go to creditsuite.com/monitoring. It's $24 to actually monitor your report. Now, you also need to keep in mind that you want to look to see if there are any errors on that report. Is any information on there being reported that you don't think is accurate? It's a problem here because the reporting agencies don't show you credit issuers' names. So if I have a Staples account with Staples, it doesn't show as Staples. It shows as actual, it will show as actual office supplies. So let me see if I can pull this up real quick and I'll show you an example of what this looks like. So when I go and pull an actual business credit report, then what happens here is I don't actually see the name of a credit issuer. I see the category they're in. This is Uline. You don't see Uline, you see packaging. Now, the bureaus are said to be changing this over the next 24 months, but as of now, there is no credit issuer name on here, nor will the bureaus ever tell you that if you call them. It's just the category that the account's in. So it's good practice to keep track of any accounts you know are getting added to your business credit reports. Otherwise, imagine having 15 of these guys. Like you don't know what account belongs to what because it's only telling you a business category. But any information on there that's not correct, you need to make sure that you're actually correcting. And if you go to YouTube and type in fix business credit or go to youtube.com/credit suite, then that will actually give you everything you need to be able to come in and to be able to fix your business credit reports. Too short of time here to teach you how to fix credit with each reporting agency. But I can tell you there's a different process with each reporting agency, and you need to make sure you go through it and correct everything. You need to correct your business name. You need to correct your business address. You need to correct your business phone number. You need to make sure that your NAICS or your industry code is correct. All that information needs to be accurate. Very important because, for example, business credit reporting agencies have what are called comparison scores that compare you to other people in your industry. Well, you don't want to be compared to people in a different industry when you're not even in the right industry. So that can happen if your NAICS is wrong. So you got to make sure that all that information is correct. Now, note about FICO. FICO has a small business score too. It's called SBSS. The score ranges from 0 to 300, with 300 being the best. You really want to have a score of 160 or higher. 160 is the score that is acceptable per SBA. So if you want an SBA loan, you have to have a FICO SBSS at 160 or you can't get an SBA loan. It's just the way that it is. So you got to make sure that you have a 160 score or higher with FICO. Now, you can't look at this at this point in time. There's nobody that's actually showing FICO SBSS scores. Here's why. Because the model is very different than normal credit reporting. So what happens is that FICO SBSS score is different for every single lender. So the lender determines the weight of what's calculated into the score. So for example, the Bank of America might say, hey, we want to weigh personal credit history heavier than business credit history. Wells Fargo may say, hey, we want to weigh business credit history higher into the score than consumer credit history. But by the way, we want Dun & Bradstreet to carry the most weight. And then Chase Bank says, well, we want business credit history to weigh heavier into the score than consumer history, but we want to make sure that Experian's credit score weighs heavier into the score. And then what FICO SBSS will do is it will go through what the actual lender plugs in. So they'll say, okay, Bank of America, we're going to pull Dun & Bradstreet and weigh that heavier in the score. Then Equifax, then Experian, then TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, consumer credit. Here's the problem. If you have bad consumer credit and no business credit, that's going to give you low FICO SBSS scores. As a matter of fact, if you have zero business credit established, you cannot even mathematically have the 160 score that's needed to get an SBA loan. You can't get a FICO SBSS score of 160 with no business credit established. You have to have business credit established. And you want to establish it because in doing so, it's going to carry more weight into the scores that people like SBA are using to determine if you get loans. And it will kind of carry more weight, which will help you overcome damaged consumer credit reporting issues as well. So you've got to make sure that you build business credit. You can't see FICO SBSS right now. But again, if you have good business credit scores, very good chance that you're going to be able to establish a good FICO SBSS score and use it to be able to qualify for all kinds of loans and credit lines as well. And Rex says, hey, Ty, I do everything through Credit Suite. I do the monitoring at $24 a month. My score's 80 Experian, 51 Equifax, or excuse me, it looks like 80 Paydex, Experian 51, Equifax 395. The account that shows on Equifax is ridiculous. The one thing I don't like about that report is it doesn't really clearly state, yeah, you're right. So, okay, so here's the deal, okay? If I ever have a problem, the $24 monitoring and NAV is like a summary of all the important data you care about. If I ever have a problem where something's inaccurate or I don't have enough data, then you probably want to pay the money for the actual Equifax report so you can get more detail. It's worth it. If I ever have an issue, then I go to the source and pull a really detailed report. Guys, you can buy $100, $200 credit reports from the bureaus that have all kinds of additional details about your business. If I have a problem with one of them, I'm pulling and paying for a detailed report. Okay, now back to your point. Doesn't really clearly state an Equifax report, but 76 or Phillips Canoco should be reporting all three. Can you explain? Granted, I've only had business credit reporting. Well, what you're doing is right, but these are all WEX fleet accounts, so that could be the reason. If I'm in this situation and I've got credit with Phillips 76, with 76 Phillips or Canoco, let's say there's two stations, then I'm going to call the credit issuer and say, why aren't you reporting this? I have credit with you. I'm paying my payments. Why isn't it reporting on my credit report? And they will then tell you why it's not reporting typically. That's what I would do. I would call the reporting agency in this case, Rex, and I would say, hey, I have something it's supposed to be reporting. It's not reporting why. I would get the details from them, and then I would also come in and get a detailed report if you need some. So that can help you with that. Hopefully that answers your question. So to recap, if your business is set up to be fundable, okay, then it's going to go a long way to helping your credibility, and it's the first step of getting set up with the reporting agencies. The next step is to get your DUNS number, and then again, you've got to make sure that you get 3 accounts reporting to DMB or 1 to Equifax, or 1 to Equifax, 1 to Experian to establish credit reports with them. Now, and the next time, we're going to talk about Tier 4 business credit vendors that you can use to build business credit. Somebody asked about Tier 4. We're going to be diving into that tomorrow, or I'm going to actually give you some insight at 11 o'clock Eastern on Tier 4 vendors you can use through the business credit building process. If you want more info, give us a call. On a free consultation, 3 things happen with us. We do a fundability assessment to figure out what's wrong with your fundability and give you advice on what to fix. We also get your business credit reports for you at no cost, and we will even go over those with you and give you tips and tactics to build your business credit. And then we also do a funding qualification to tell you all the money you can get right now. Now, if you got value from this, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. A lot goes into putting these things on. All I ask is a little click of a button. So like this and then subscribe. And that way you'll be notified whenever we go live. We go live Tuesday and Thursday at 1, 11 o'clock on Wednesday. And go to creditsuite.com, top right of the page. You can access all of our social links. Daily tips on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We have 1-minute video tips on Insta and on our TikTok as well. We also have a podcast, the Business Credit Financing Show. You can listen on the go. We have all kinds of experts that come in and teach you all different aspects of running different kind of businesses and insight on how to run your own business. Over 500,000 downloads, one of the most popular financial podcasts that's out there on places like iTunes. You can access all of that stuff at the top right of our page, creditsuite.com. Now, Mark says, I want to use the same NAICS code as Credit Suite. What one do you use? Well, again, you want to make sure that you are the right one, which we are actually software publishers. So if you look, we are software publishers, Mark. If that's what you want it to be the same as us, then that's what you want to use. But do you own a software company? Do you have a development team? There's a lot of reasons we're able to use software publishers versus financial services or education because we have a full-blown development team or a software company. So something to keep in mind there. Naj says, are there any secured fleet gas cards? There really aren't. You don't find very much secured credit in the business credit reporting space to begin with. Okay. That being said, Fleet or WEX and Phillips 76 will give you credit accounts in the very beginning to help you build business credit, but they require a personal guarantee, and they they require a $500 deposit. So you can't get secure ones, but if you're willing to put up a $500 deposit and you're willing to put up a personal guarantee, Phillips 76 will help you with this. And again, guys, don't keep in mind, I'm not trying to self-promote here, but it's way easier. If you're interested in building business credit and you're interested in doing it quick and easy, then just reach out to us. Let's talk more, because as I'll show you right now, like the system to have all these questions answered is pretty simple, because our clients that are building business credit, you've heard from a few of them now, are doing so through this system. It's called our Business Finance Suite. And it just step-by-steps everything. So you can see that we talked about business fundability today. Right here in step 1, we talk about everything to do with the business fundability, okay? This has to do with your business phone number, your website, your email, how to set all those things up the right way. Getting set up with the reporting agencies we covered today too. Okay, we go through all that with our clients, and we actually help you fix business credit reports. And we also just give you a step-by-step program to be able to build business credit, where you can see every single vendor in the system. You can see their underwriting requirements, the exact process to get approved. So it just makes it super simple to come in and build your business credit and get, literally, we've got clients with well over $1 million worth of established credit that they're using to grow their business, all without a personal guarantee and credit check. So if you're interested in that, give us a call. Like, we have ridiculously affordable programs where we can make it easier and cheaper than you're even doing it on your own if you're interested in getting that info. Steve, wish you could do a Saturday show too. Hang, what are you having me working on Saturday? Saturday's the day I'm hanging with my kids. And Mark says, easy net 30 business credit building company. And I'm not sure if you're asking a question or not, but I like CEO Creative right now. I think they're a good one as well. And Naj says, how much is it to get to the system? It depends. We have different pricing options. You can go to creditsuite.com and check out pricing. We've got programs where you could just build business credit and get financing. We've got programs where you could become a partner and offer business credit financing. And we've got programs we don't even have on our website where you could do it yourself without our advisors that are really, really, really cheap, affordable, cancel anytime subscription programs that you'll rarely ever hear me talk about. The only way you'll ever actually get the detail is to talk to somebody in our team that provides that. But creditsuite.com, you can check pricing and check out our partner programs and the options there for building business credit with our team. And again, we've got options that are beyond that too. Plus, we've got sources that will finance it for you. So we've actually got a finance source that will finance your enrollment with us for you and give you really ridiculously cheap payments. I won't even say how cheap because I don't want to set a precedent, but very, 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 very affordable. So again, it's cheaper to work with us and do it on your own because so many things that we include are free or discounted. And we have so many different ways to make it affordable that if we can help you through this process, make sure you get in touch with us. Let us know. We'd love to work with you. Sorry, I'm a Credit Suite member. My company name is, EasyNet30. I like that name. That's awesome, Mark. And Impress Me says, do you provide guidance for government contracting and setting up SAMs? Not necessarily my field, no. We could give you limited info on getting set up to be able to qualify for government contracting, but government contracting and SAMs, it's just not really my jam. I'm not going to be your best source for that. But great question, Impressed me, and I appreciate it as well. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow. We talk about Tier 4 vendors and building business credit. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and give us a call for your free consult. Get your free business credit reports and fundability assessment. Look forward to talking with you on our next live training. We're talking about more cool ways to get money to start and grow.